The new chapter 34 completely changes this story. I'm not going to retell the chapter here, you can check out my full breakdown in my previous video. What I really want to talk about is what all of this actually means and where the story might be heading next. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, because the more support the channel gets, the more often I'll be able to drop new videos. Let's start with Sarada. To me, she was the true center of this chapter, and not because something flashy or explosive happened to her. It's because of the role she's about to play in the chapters ahead. This isn't tragedy for the sake of tragedy. Now let's shift focus to the one who could become the one carrying out that fate. Yeah, I'm talking about a character named Code. Just look at where he is right now. The Shinju, the very beings he created himself, openly call him a clown. He lost control over the greatest power he had, the 10 Tails. He's isolated, completely alone, with no allies left. The only thing he still has is this obsessive, blinding faith in the Otsutsuki clan. His entire existence is built around one idea, serving these beings and one day becoming one of them himself. Code is a character the manga has been quietly preparing for a role he doesn't even realize he's meant to play. In chapter 34, Koji openly states the second possible scenario. Code kidnaps Sarada and uses her as a hostage. And honestly, this isn't just a tactic anymore, it's the only move he has left. He can't defeat Boruto in a fair fight. He doesn't have the time or resources to rebuild an army. But striking at the one place nobody expects, targeting the person who literally sacrificed her Sharingan for victory, that's something he can do. And that's exactly why I think it's going to happen. But where would he take her? To a place nobody escapes from. I kept thinking it could be the dimension with the Otsutsuki stone tablet. And the first time that idea hit me, it honestly felt like a moment of clarity. Not just because it makes sense tactically, Code's claw marks are there, Boruto would have no allies there, and he'd be completely alone in hostile territory. But because symbolically, it's the perfect place. That's where the history of the Otsutsuki clan is literally carved into stone. That's where Code accepted Ishiki Otsutsuki's legacy, and that's exactly where Boruto would go, because he wouldn't have a choice. Now here's the really interesting part. The thing I've been thinking about for days now, and honestly, the logic behind it is kind of terrifying. I think Momoshiki is going to speak directly to Code. Code is someone who sees the Otsutsuki as literal gods, and suddenly, standing in front of him is Momoshiki himself, one of the greatest members of that clan. So basically, that means Sarada is the key to Momoshiki's plan. So what would Momoshiki say to a fanatic who's ready to devote his entire existence to him? Momoshiki is arrogant, sure, but that's exactly why he doesn't use brute force when manipulation works better. He would see straight through Code, abandoned, isolated, betrayed by his own creations, and he would offer him a narrative Code simply wouldn't be able to reject. The Shinju truly are a threat, even to the Otsutsuki themselves, and Momoshiki is the only being standing between chaos and order, at least the version of order Code believes in. This wouldn't even feel like manipulation. It would feel like salvation. Code would become his follower, not because he was broken, but because he finally found an Otsutsuki who actually speaks to him. And this brings me back to chapter 56 of the original manga. That was the first time Kawaki openly said this idea out loud, placing Boruto's karma onto someone else, using another person as a backup copy so that if Momoshiki ever completely consumed Boruto, Boruto's consciousness could simply move into another body. Back then, it sounded like a desperate theory, a worst-case scenario nobody would ever actually go through with. But what if it was never just an emergency backup plan? What if it was the plan from the very beginning? Boruto right now is 100% Otsutsuki. After Momoshiki regenerated his body, the extraction process was fully completed, and according to the rules of this universe, that means he biologically has the ability to place his own karma onto others. The vessel carries a complete copy that slowly rewrites the host from the inside. It works both ways, and Code is the only person who has already survived the implantation of an Otsutsuki karma. Boruto places his karma onto Code. Momoshiki gets the original body back, and Code stops being Code. Code's entire character arc has always been about blind faith and the way it destroys a person from the inside out. He dedicated his life to becoming an Otsutsuki one day, and in the end, his body truly does transform into an Otsutsuki vessel. His dream comes true, just not in the way he imagined. And I'm not even going to pretend this would only be cool as a plot twist. Because underneath all the fanaticism and manipulation, there really was genuine faith inside Code, genuine devotion. It was just directed into emptiness, toward gods who never actually cared about him. Ikamoto probably isn't giving him a heroic fate. Now let's talk about Momoshiki. Right now, he's trapped inside Boruto's consciousness with no way to resurrect into a separate body, because all of his genetic data was already used up regenerating the vessel. But if Boruto transfers himself into Code's body, then Momoshiki regains the original body completely. Not temporary control, not a few minutes on the surface. And suddenly, he has two perfect candidates for the Ten Tails, Boruto inside Code's body and Kawaki. Both are Otsutsuki Karma users. Both are ideal sacrifices for a chakra fruit. Momoshiki has never truly feared Boruto, not once. He's always viewed him as a vessel, as a tool. A battle against Boruto in Code's body wouldn't feel like a threat to him at all. I look at chapter 34 now and realize this isn't just the end of the Mamushi arc. It feels like the beginning of the story's full action phase. Code, as a character, reaches the end of his journey, while Momoshiki finally steps out of the shadows and becomes a true physical antagonist in the real world. Boruto would no longer have to hold himself back out of fear of awakening the enemy inside him. And honestly, that would be insanely interesting to watch. Let me know in the comments what you think, because I'm genuinely curious how all of you feel about this direction. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel.